Ecology is basically the study of interactions between organisms and their environment. Population is basically the same species living in the same area. So, for example, these bunnies. Community is a bunch of different species living in the same area. For example, like in the forest right here, it's deers and skunks and all these animals. And ecosystem is all those organisms and how they interact with each other and how they interact with the environment. Habitat is the place where the animal lives, like the type of place there is. Biosphere is all the ecosystems and landscapes on the planet. And niche is the living and non-living resources in that environment. Population ecology is the study of how big or small a population is, its growth rate, and how they are dispersed in a habitat. Size is how many animals there are in a population. Density is the amount of animals per area in a population, so basically the volume. Dispersion is how they are, dispersed in an environment. So are they clumped like humans, or are they in an organized fashion like, say, strawberries in a field? Age structure defines how many animals there are per age group. Biotic potential is the maximum growth rate in an environment with ideal conditions for living. Carrying capacity is the highest number of individuals that a habitat can sustain. There are also limiting factors which keep a population from reaching its biotic potential. Density-dependent factors will depend on the density of a population. For example, if a population becomes more dense, then there is a higher competition for food. Density-independent factors are the exact opposite. They do not depend on the population at all. Community ecology is interactions between populations. Interspecific competition is competition between two different species. Predation is basically predator and prey. So this owl is basically a predator and all the mice it eats are prey. Trophic levels are how plants and animals are organized based on the utilization of energy. Autotrophs consume energy through the sun or inorganic material, while heterotrophs consume energy through organic material or like eating other animals. Primary producers convert sun energy into chemical energy. Bambi is a primary consumer because he eats the grass, which is a primary producer. Secondary consumers eat primary consumers. Tertiary consumers are heterotrophs that eat secondary consumers. Detritivores actually eat dead consumers. Dominant species are the most abundant species, and keystone species are the species that have the most influence on the environment. Biogeochemical cycles is the flow of an element from the environment to the organisms back to the environment. So the water cycle would be rain, carbon cycle would be CO2 removed by photosynthesis, then added back to the environment by fossil fuel burning. Nitrogen is basically the nitrogen given off by plants, taken back into the environment, and then released back into the environment. Phosphoryl is the release during geological uplift, and then back into the plants, and then eaten by the organisms such as snails. Basically, humans are totally destroying the planet.